and welcome to Victober 2019. It is finally upon us. And if you watch my things making my Victober video, I talked about the Team Bronte shirt, and it came Friday, so like 4 days before Victober even started. So I'm wearing my Team Bronte shirt today, and the weather today and tomorrow is supposed to be still a little bit summery, but I have been psychotically checking the 10-day forecast, and it looks like it's going to be very Victober-y weather after that. We're supposed to have like a 67 and rainy day, so I'm very pleased. But I thought this would be nice because I can read it. I can wear this when it's hot out, or I have a great cardigan that will look really nice with it. I'm just very, very excited to be wearing this in honor of the very first day of Victober. I wanted to tell you about the books I'll be working on in this first week. And this is throughout the month also. So I'll be trying to start out each day with 2 poems by Christina Rossetti. And hopefully I will finally succeed in reading a poetry collection during Victober. And then we started actually yesterday because we wanted to start our buddy read on a Monday, Hard Times by Dickens. I went in a bit apprehensive, but I've been very surprised at how much I enjoyed it. So I think I'm really in the mood for a Dickens. And this is a rather concise Dickens. It's not even 300 pages. And for Dickens, that's incredibly short. So that's the reading just flew by yesterday. So we'll see how it continues to do. And then this week is our reading of The Importance of Being Earnest. So I'm not sure at what point I'll sit down with this, and I don't know if I'll read a little every day or if I just want to like read it in one go. We shall see what I'm in the mood for, but I'm very excited about this, and all the TBRs people have been doing, it's just made me more excited because it seems like it's just going to be a really fun aspect of Victober reading. He's supposed to be incredibly humorous. And this first week also I am reading The White Company with Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures. And I'm looking forward to having a sort of adventure story and having that aspect of it. I'll be reading a little bit out of Vanity Fair each day. Hopefully I'm successful. On Hoopla yesterday, I did check out an audiobook of Adam Bede for Knit and Listen and Vanity Fair, just in case I decide I want to do the audiobook as well or instead of. I just also wanted a physical copy of Vanity Fair. Like if it becomes a new favorite book, I like to have copies of all my favorite Victorian novels. If it's one I don't like as much, I very freely get rid of it. And then I also got the audio for Oscar Wilde's plays. So now the October checkouts for Hoopla are here. I'm not sure what else I'll be checking out, but they're here and I can use them if I want to. So happy reading, everyone. This is one of my favorite soundtracks to listen to. It's very lighthearted, so that's the first one I'm starting with. And I can't do any clips for you because YouTube has come really hard down on anybody using copyrighted music. So I won't be able to do that in any of the vlogs, but I wanted you to see these plate illustrations at the beginning. I love pre-Raphaelite art, and so I don't know if her brother Gabriel, Christina's brother Gabriel, did these, but they're just beautiful, and I thought you would appreciate seeing them. Totally forgot about the socks I had ready for October 1st. So Peter has pumpkins, and I have pumpkins. Hi, Arthur.
You move.
So I follow Read Aloud Revival, and she has a whole list of picture books by the month, and I picked up a ton on Saturday, and it's just really fun to get all the Halloween picture books. So Pumpkin Jack, Countdown to Fall, Every Autumn Comes the Bear, and Room on the Broom. So it's kind of become our morning routine to come downstairs and hang out on the couch together. Arthur has a bottle, even though you're too big for bottles, right? And we read picture books. It's a really nice way to start the day. And I will show you the candle that we're going to light. The first one we picked, and that is Cider House. So like I said, I've been saving these until October. Very much looking forward to this one. This was the one that I went back and forth over whether I liked it. And now that I find it's the first day I'm burning them, I really want to burn it. So that's what we'll be starting with. To show, I'm so happy with the like autumn setup that we have. We normally have candles burning at supper time. It doesn't matter what we eat, but it makes dinner feel nicer if we burn candles. And then this really tall pillar candle, which this is going to take so long. So I like to do unscented candles if it's supper time. It just seems like the scented candle's overwhelming to sit right by while you're eating. So that's in there. But then during the day, when we're not, you know, sitting at the table having a meal together, I'll just put the Yankee candle there.
Did you hear what I was playing, Lane? I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
Been a marvelous first day of Victober, seriously. All of the communication with participants and seeing exciting things from booktubers. There were 4 really fun Victober videos up today. One from Charles Heathcote, one from Tom at Tom Reads Things, one from Claudia at Spencer's Library, and one from Rainey at Rainy Day Reads. So in case you had not seen them or not subscribed to any of them, which you should be, I will link all of those videos down below. I'm making a playlist of any Victober themed videos. I'm gonna finally sit and do Knit and Listen. The first Knit and Listen. I did do a cheeky cast on last week just because, I don't know, I wanted it to be like already set up for me, but I haven't started at Bede. I'm really looking forward to that. So the boys are in bed. I'm at home alone. I can have my audiobook on and I'm gonna make some biscuit tea and give you a live reaction. Read 3 chapters with Peter of The Princess and the Goblin. The first chapter, the language was pretty rough. And he was like, I don't want to read any more of this. It's boring. But I kind of made him try a second chapter. Not like I'm going to make him read the whole book if he doesn't like it. But I just thought, why don't we try one more chapter? Because a lot of times the opening chapters in adult books are really tough. And he liked the next 2 chapters better. I read the first 5 chapters in The White Company by Arthur Conan Doyle. And I liked it more than I was expecting. It feels, honestly, you know what? It feels like a Wheel of Time book where somebody's traveling around and they found a tavern. They've met interesting characters during their travels. So it's fun. The language is a little bit difficult, but not too hard. And then I read the first section of The Importance of Being Earnest. It was so funny. I think sometimes we think of Victorian people as just so detached from us that we couldn't possibly relate. And this just feels so modern. The humor's so funny. And I really liked it. The one thing I haven't done today that I was really hoping to do is read a section of Vanity Fair. So I think having 2 buddy reads, it's hard to keep up with my other reads. I don't know if I'm going to fit any of this in today. We'll see. But it's really nice because next week I only have Cranford I'm buddy reading, I think. So I can maybe like catch up on that. I really don't feel overwhelmed by my TBR this year, which is really nice. And then I'm really enjoying Hard Times. I'm still really enjoying it. I was so in the mood for a Dickens and I'm very excited. Okay, some candle talk. So later in the afternoon, I lit, where is it? There we go. Autumn in the Park. I'm terrible at showing this burning. I really like this scent. It just doesn't have a very big throw, which is what they use on Candle 2 for like how far the scent travels. So if I'm sitting at the table with it, I can smell it really nicely. And it just looks so pretty while it's burning. But it doesn't travel that much. It's such a like fresh, crisp scent. I really like it. So Autumn in the Park. And then I showed you me lighting Cider House, and that one is almost a little bit too strong. I really love the smell of it. It's really decadent, but I find I want it at like the other end of the apartment because it is so strong. So I do wish this one, the throw was a bit stronger, but overall I really like it. I just have to be sitting like right by it to smell it. And yeah, the cider house one is a really rich scent. So it's really nice, but I think I'll like it in smaller doses. It was burning for like 4 hours, whereas this one I've had burning for like 6 and haven't gotten tired of it. So I have it here. I steeped it for 5 minutes. It didn't even say on the box how long to steep it. So I haven't put cream or sweetener in here because I wanted to try it on its own first. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that. It really tastes like there's cookies in there. Yeah, so, you know, in America, we would call it a cookie. A biscuit, we call a scone. Or rather, a scone we call a biscuit. That's what I meant to say. That's really wild. The aftertaste totally tastes like a cookie. All right, so I'm going to try some almond milk. That's really nice. And then I think I'll add just a little bit of honey. It's really, really lovely. Of course, quite the proper place to keep her crown in. She wears it in bed, I'll be bound. She didn't say that, and I don't think she does. That wouldn't be comfortable, wouldn't it? I don't think my papa wears his crown for a nightcap. So excited to watch this announcement video from Elaine Howland. I got really excited last night. She invited me to the Goodreads group for her Halloween Spooktacular reading soiree, which just the name, I was like, sign me up. And it's a 24-hour readathon, and I'm going to be busy on Halloween, but I think you find when you're motivated, you can squeeze in reading. So just probably finishing up Victober odds and ends on Halloween, and then maybe some ghost stories and maybe like a mystery audiobook. I just don't know. So I'll see how I feel at the end of the month, closer to it. But I think I want to make a TBR, and it just looks so fun. So I can't wait to watch this video because Elaine always has such beautiful videos.
And I think his blue linen handkerchief was very wet with tears, long before he had made up his mind that it was time for him to set his face steadily homewards. He was but 3 and 20, and had only just learned what it is to love.
Hi everyone, I thought I'd give a bit of an update. It is Friday evening now, and it has been a very stressful couple of days. We had a health issue in our family, and everyone's fine, everyone's doing well, but it was just a very not fun, exhausting couple of days. The boys are actually staying at my parents' until tomorrow morning, so it's really nice to have a very low-key Friday afternoon and evening, and I've just been sitting here reading and Victobering, as people are now calling it. I love people using it as a verb. Yes, so wanted to talk about knit and listen, wanted to talk about the books that I've been reading. And knit and listen has been a mixed bag. So as far as the book goes, Bede by George Eliot, which is her first novel, it has been very much exceeding my expectations. Her writing is so beautiful. I just love all of her poignant observations, and I just love George Eliot. I'm going to move you a little bit closer because I feel like you're very far. Okay, there we go. And it's just very beautiful. I'm very engaged with the plot. I think I'm around 100 pages into Bede. My copy's over there. I'm just not going to go and get it. So loving that. My knitting, however, initially setting it up, all of that, I was having so much fun. It's very soothing to knit while you're doing that. But I got this far into it, and then this part is supposed to be the front section, and I'm really stressed out by this pattern. I'm very confused. I don't think I understand the chart, and I just don't feel like spending the time doing that. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna frog this and pick a different thing, because I found myself, once I got kind of stumped, I'm just not listening to Adam Bede because this is stressing me out. And I thought, you know what? This is silly. Start a new one. This is not far into a sweater at all. And that's what I'm going to do because it's funny. Like I wasn't planning on knitting during Victober, but when Mel suggested this, I was like, okay, I'll do that. And now I really want to do it. Like I haven't knit in a while. I've been doing a lot of embroidery. So I really want to do some knitting because fall has arrived where I am. And so that's what I'm in the mood for. Then I'm reading Hard Times with Tom from Tom Reads Things. And this has really been exceeding my expectations. I've been very pleasantly surprised by it. I am, 200 pages into Hard Times. And hopefully, excuse me, if things go according to plan, I'll finish this on Sunday. And this has a very like Mary Barton atmosphere to it. So if you liked Mary Barton and you're not sure about Dickens, this might be a fun one to try, and vice versa. It's enjoyable. Right now it's hovering between 3 and 4 stars, and the ending can either kick it up to 4 stars or knock it down to 3. We shall see. But I was worried I was going to be like dreading reading it. And then I've been having a very surreal reading experience with Vanity Fair because I've basically just been reading it when I have insomnia, and then I'll have to go back to where I wasn't asleep yet. I'll have to like rewind in the audiobook. But despite that, I'm really getting into this. It was slow going at first. And I did start to get slightly worried, but also since I'm doing most of it in audiobook, I was not really feeling daunted by it. And I am 130, excuse me, 130 pages into this. So I am behind because I was going to try to read, a set amount each day, and I haven't done that. But I still feel that with the audiobook, I can kind of leap ahead because when I do listen, I'm able to listen to it at a fast speed. So it goes by quickly. The narrator for that and Adam Bede is Georgina Sutton. Love her. She's so good. Just finished The Importance of Being Earnest. So much fun. I'm just incredibly pleased that this is what we picked for the group reads. I'm very excited about this. So I got 5 stars. In the week before the group read of A Woman of No Importance, I think I'm going to do Lady Windermere's Fan and An Ideal Husband because my audiobook expires on the 20th. So I want to have those 2 done. And they're such quick listens. It's like an hour and a half or something like that for one. And then this has been a bit of a mixed experience. The White Company by Arthur Conan Doyle. What's nice about this experience is that Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures, who's buddy reading this with me, is having a similar mixed experience. So we're finding the parts that we like, we're really enjoying, but the dialogue in particular is very confusing. And Mel pointed out, and I hadn't even noticed it, that it jumps back and forth between like Victorian era speech and medieval speech. So it's kind of disorienting. But I'm finding the passages talking about where they're traveling and what they're seeing while they travel to be incredibly beautiful. So like when I read those, I'm like, okay, this book is worth it. It's worth all the work. But I'm just reading it at a much slower pace. I do have 2 buddy reads the 3rd week in Victober. So I am hopefully to get this finished before that because this is taking a lot of concentration. So it's been slow going. I am around 72 pages and it is 350 pages. I'll let you know how it continues to go. But again, I think some books you just know they can't be rushed through. Some books you just don't feel motivated to take your time with them. But I'm still feeling motivated to take my time with this. It's fun to have an adventurous tale in there as some variety. So I shall leave you here. I will let you know what happens with the new sweater. Hopefully I find something I like. And I am off to watch now Hannah
her video on the importance of being earnest. I'm very excited. So like I said earlier, all these Victober videos that I reference will be linked down below. I found the new sweater pattern I'm going to do, and actually I thought about looking at the one that Christy picked, which is the flaxlight. Now I can't, yeah, flaxlight. I couldn't remember for a second. Flaxlight pullover, because it's just so, it's really elegant, but very simple. And I was thinking I would kind of be okay with the pattern that she had, but then the one that she picked has fingering yarn, which is like way smaller weight than the one that I have. And it said they had other pattern with, you know, another weight of yarn on, and I looked and I have the right supplies, the right yarn. So I'm so happy. I didn't even think of like trying the one that Christy had picked before. And now I'm going to cast on, although I have to frog first. And I feel very confident about this one. I read through the whole pattern, also plus it was free, and I'm feeling very excited. I am so in awe of George Eliot's skill as a writer. I can't believe this is her first published novel. So I wanted to read this passage from the beginning of chapter 6. No spoilers. Evidently that gate is never opened, for the long grass and the great hemlocks grow against it, and if it were opened, it is so rusty that the force necessary to turn it on its hinges would be likely to pull down the square stone-built pillars to the detriment of the 2 stone lionesses, which grin with a doubtful carnivorous affability above a coat of arms, surmounting each of the pillars. It would be easy enough, by the aid of the nicks in the stone pillars, to climb over the brick wall with its smooth stone coping, but by putting our eyes close to the rusty bars of the gate, we can see the house well enough, and all but the very corners of the grassy enclosure. It is a very fine old place of red brick, softened by a pale powdery lichen, which has dispersed itself with happy irregularity, so as to bring the red brick into terms of friendly companionship with the limestone ornaments surrounding the 3 gables, the windows, and the door-place. But the windows are patched with wooden panes, and the door, I think, is like the gate. It is never opened. How it would groan and grate against the stone floor if it were, for it is a solid, heavy, handsome door, and must once have been in the habit of shutting with a sonorous bang behind a liveried lackey, who had just seen his master and mistress off the grounds in a carriage and pair. But at present one might fancy the house in the early stage of a chancery suit, and that the fruit from that grand double row of walnut trees on the right hand of the enclosure would fall and rot among the grass, if it were not that we heard the booming bark of dogs echoing from great buildings at the back. And now the half-weaned calves that have been sheltering themselves in a gorse-built hovel against the left-hand wall come out and set up a silly answer to that terrible bark, doubtless supposing that it has reference to buckets of milk. Yes, the house must be inhabited, and we will see by whom, for imagination is a licensed trespasser. It has no fear of dogs, but may climb over walls and peep in at windows with impunity. Put your face to one of the glass panes in the right-hand window. What do you see? A large open fireplace with rusty dogs in it, and a bare boarded floor at the far end. Fleeces of wool stacked up in the middle of the floor, some empty corn bags. That is the furniture of the dining room. And what through the left-hand window? Several clothes horses, a pillion, a spinning wheel, and an old box wide open and stuffed full of colored rags. At the edge of this box there lies a great wooden doll, which, so far as mutilation is concerned, bears a strong resemblance to the finest Greek sculpture, and especially in the total loss of its nose. Near it there is a little chair, and the butt end of a boy's leather long-lashed whip. It is Saturday morning now, and I am headed off to pick up my little boys. I'm so excited to see them. I have missed them. So I will be listening to Vanity Fair on the way. Let me tell you, Becky Sharp is like the original Mean Girl. She's a lot. She's a lot. She and Scarlett O'Hara, I don't think would have liked each other because they are very similar. So I'm enjoying the comparisons. And at the end, it would be interesting to to continue to think about those. But I just wanted to show something that I use. Our speakers in the car are very like, sometimes the radio will turn on, sometimes it won't. So what I bring with me actually is this little Bluetooth speaker. It's one of the basic Bluetooth speakers out there, but it means I can listen to audiobooks in the car still, even when our speakers are iffy. So that's been a really nice treat. I'm going to drive and enjoy Vanity Fair on this first Saturday in Victober. My ghost story went up, so I'm looking forward to everyone seeing that. Designated Saturday nights in Victober to be book bath nights. So I'm also going to try to read by candlelight. So I thought I would just take the read by candlelight challenge to the next level. And I have decided to set down The White Company by Arthur Conan Doyle because I was thinking about it more, and it's not that I'm not willing to put in work for harder books, but I have to get a pretty substantial reward out of it. Like Anna Karenina, as I was reading, I still felt like I was really resonating it, and this book was really going to stay with me. And Les Miserables, and I'm trying to think, like Middlemarch. But with this, I can like right now, it just feels at most it would be a 3-star read, and I just want Victober to be amazing. So it's sad because, like I said, the passages that he's describing, like the traveling, all of that is very interesting. But basically everything else was not. So probably like 20% are the descriptions that I like, and then the other 80% I'm not enjoying. So I decided to cut my losses. And tonight I will be starting Struggle for Fame by Charlotte Riddell. I don't know much about this. I just know it's about a woman whose father has recently passed away. She moves from Ireland to London with her mother to try to make her fortune. And we will see what I think of this. Okay, also for my book bath then, I have on the Victorian era, and then it has in parentheses 1835 through 1903. So there's a couple extra years thrown in there. And it's songs that sound highly capital R romantic. So not all Victorian era soundtracks, but they all fit. So this movie is called Perfect Sense, and this is from the soundtrack. This is just one of the many songs on the playlist. I hadn't actually heard of this movie. But it sounds very cool, lots of stringed instruments. So I will show you the candles that I will be using. I didn't want to use a ton of scented candles because I find that when you're in a bathroom, and our bathroom is very tiny, the scents get overwhelming. So the one I will be having burning though, and we've had today burning most of the day, is the Cider House one. I really like this candle. And it's funny, now that I'm in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, I actually wouldn't mind it being a bit stronger. Then I bought 4 of these pillar candles. I showed you that one on the table display. So this one is already lit up, and we've been having it lit up at the supper table. And so I'll light all 4 of those and kind of line them along the tub. And then 2 more candles because I want a lot of light. That's what Steve Donahue recommends. I'll be using both of these. These are like the candlesticks that are on the table in the kitchen. And then lastly, to really amp up the whole book bath experience, I got a bubble bar from Lush. Yeah, I'm really excited. And this looks like a little pumpkin. Head off to bed, but I did want to say that the book bath was so lovely. It's a really warm yellow light. I don't think I've ever read by candlelight, and I can't encourage you enough just to have a lot of candles, and it was really lovely to do. All told, I read around, some in the bath, some out of the bath, 45 pages of A Struggle for Fame, and the jury is still out on this. The writing is good. The story's taking a long time to be set up. That's what it is. So I'm wanting to read
probably until around 100 pages will be what I'm willing to continue trying, because I think it's possible that once it's set up, I could really like it. Or it's possible that once it's set up, I'll be like, yeah, actually, I'm still not that interested. It is Sunday afternoon, and I just wanted to film a last clip to update you on my reading of A Struggle for Fame. And it is now nap time. I'll show you. I have my candle burning over there. I'm having them on just all the time. It's lovely. And I'm planning on putting together my Victober week 1 vlog. And then I read maybe 15 more pages of A Struggle for Fame. It's just not drawing me in. I'm not that impressed by the writing, to be honest. There were 2 paragraphs where I was like, oh, wow, that's really cleverly written or funny or beautiful. And then the rest of it just seems pretty average. It's just not pulling me in. So I could always pick it up again later, but since she was an Irish author, I figured I would try another Irish author. And I had 2 kind of like books that I felt I couldn't fit into my Victober TBR, but they were like next priority. And so I picked one of those 2. And this is Grania, The Story of an Island by Emily Lawless. Victorian Secret Publishers sent me this last year. It was really nice of them, and I'm ashamed that I, didn't get around to it before. I picked this up, and within the first chapter, I was super invested in the story. A little bit of the way that it's written, it's set on an Aran island, and the way the landscape is such a big part of the story, and just the atmosphere. Do you know, for those of you who have read Wuthering Heights, no spoilers, you know how it has a sort of otherworldly feel to it, and this has that kind of otherworldly feel to it, and it just pulled me in immediately. So I think I've made the right decision, and I want to read something that draws me in. And I know if I kept trying to read the other one, I would avoid reading. I wouldn't want to pick it up. So this has really beautiful writing, and I'm intrigued already. Looking forward to this. Plus, this is a very short one. I have less than 200 pages left. Another cool thing about Victorian Secret Publishers, which makes me want to get more from them, is there are so many resources in this. There are appendices that have so many notes on like the historical background and all sorts of interesting things to give it a fuller reading experience if you want that. And then at the back, they include the like reviews that it got that day, then essays and poems and letters by Emily Lawless. It has about 100 pages of supplementary material. So that's a really special book to me. And it was really funny because I texted Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures how I'm really sorry. I think I'm just going to DNF the White Company. And then when I woke up this morning, I found a message from her saying, I'm so glad you said that because I was really struggling last night and thinking the same thing too. Because it's kind of a normal thing to feel bad when you DNF a buddy read. And everyone has always been very understanding whenever I've done it, but I still feel bad. And I am looking forward to the second week of Victober. Only one buddy read heading into that week, and I'll be finishing off Hard Times with Tom from Tom Reads Things. And speaking of him, one of the things I'm going to do after I've edited my vlog is watch his video that he has put up on childhood in Victorian literature. And of course, it will be linked in the description box down below. I hope you've all had a good first week of October, and here's to an even better second week.